Chapter 807. A Bad Cop Gone Worse. At Gotham Royal York High School, I was getting my supplies ready for a big trigonometry test. Math was never my strong suit, but I had to try. By my side was Meg Griffin, and she had a major change in her appearance. She had a major amount of reconstructive surgery done on her, and she went from how she looked in Quahog to a beautiful teenage girl. She had beautiful black hair with a red streak in it, purple headband, purple eyeshadow, blue eyes, her black sleeveless goth clothes which revealed part of her chest, a black skirt and black boots. Me, so you ready for the trig test, Meg? Meg, I sure am, JD. Despite after everything I've been through in Quahog, I couldn't be more free of my evil former home. Me, Quahog was a fucked up town from the start. It should not have been made an official town of the United States. Meg, you got that right. Maria, I'm glad we destroyed it. Carol, me too. Meg. We turned and we saw Meg's arch-nemesis Connie D'Amico. Me, Connie D'Amico. How's life going as a disgraced whore? Connie, you ruined me, Meg Griffin. If you hadn't opened your big mouth, Quahog wouldn't have been destroyed and my life would still be intact. Meg, it's not my fault. Maria, yet. You did that all to yourself when you bullied Meg. Connie, don't you even start, Rockle. You were one of the people who destroyed my home. Carol, she had a good reason to do that. Me, Quahog was a town that was doomed from the start. That's why we had to destroy it. Its people were nothing but a bunch of lying, scheming con artists and douchebags. There were only a few people there that were given a second chance, and that was Meg, Stewie, Brian and the children, as well as a few others. Connie, I don't care. Meg ruined my life and now I'm going to return the favor. Cheen, who is that girl? Maria, that's Connie D'Amico. She's an extremely abusive bully. Maria went over Connie's history. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Connie is the captain of the James Woods Regional High School cheerleading squad, the same school attended by Meg and Chris Griffin. She has numerous friends amongst the socially powerful student body and is mostly seen with her closest friends, Gina, Scott, and Doug. Portrayed as being mean, cruel, and possibly spoiled as she is attractive, Connie is well reputed as the meanest yet most popular female bully of her class and generally bullies unpopular students, with Meg being her most frequent victim. The Griffins have also taken up for Meg on these occasions. In the episode Let's Go to the Hop, Peter, while disguised as Lando Griffin, was fooled into going to the winter snowball with Connie, however dumped her in front of everyone for Meg. She has done Toad, but was impressed with Peter, as Lando, who got her and other students to quit. In the episode And the Wiener Is, Connie publicly humiliated Meg at her birthday party, persuading Lois to send Quagmire over for his own fun. In the episode Barely Legal, Brian, who is incredibly drunk, comments harshly to Connie and tells her his views on her behavior, then tells her the reason why she teases Meg is to avoid the fact that she will end up as a chalky-skinned burlap sack nobody, not even her stepfather, will want, causing her to run away crying. Briefly in the Peter's Daughter, Connie confronts Meg and makes a fat joke. This induces Peter to brutally smash her head into a fire extinguisher, severely bruising and uglifying Connie. But in typical Family Guy reset button fashion, Connie is fully healed and back to her pretty self in future episodes. In McStroke, Stewie tricks Connie into dating him only for her to find out he's a baby. Stewie yells out to the school that Connie made out with a baby, leaving everyone to think she's a pedophile. She is last seen getting arrested for this. In Steroids, she dates Chris briefly. Originally this is a challenge she takes on to make him popular, but she soon develops true feeling for him and is fully willing to give her popularity for him and shows she is willing to change and embrace some new morals, possibly because she has been given true love towards her for the first time in her life. Later, Chris becomes egotistical from his newfound popularity and dumps her to gain a variety of girls, causing her to lose her popularity for a short time. It is possible that she still likes him, although this relationship is never mentioned again. She has dated all 3 of the human male griffins, Stewie in McStroke, Peter in Let's Go to the Hop, and Chris in Steroids. Also in Steroids, Peter had a strong attraction to Connie, and when she gets knocked unconscious by Chris and 2 other girls, Peter says, "Oh, Connie's hurt, I'd best lie on top of her to keep her warm." Much to the disapproval of the party guests, only for him to break the 4th wall and say, "What are you looking at? It's a cartoon." In Dial Meg for Murder, Meg finally gets revenge on Connie, along with her friends, by whacking her with a sack of unopened soda cans. After that, Meg French kisses her. In Lego My Mego, Connie is picked as the captain for a dodgeball team during the girls' gym class and picks everyone for the team except Meg, and she and the other girls then ruthlessly pelt Meg with dodgeballs. In Follow the Money, her latest appearance in the show so far, she is shown as a stripper pole dancing at the local strip club. In the Italian version of Family Guy, Connie D'Amico is spelled Connie D'Amico, in order to make Family Guy names more local, although it is apparent Connie is Italian-American. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Sheen, she's that dangerous? Maria, yep. Sheen, alright. This is my first time dealing with bullies. What do I do? Megan, simple. Beat them up with everything you have. Cornelia, but try not to kill them. Sheen, I can do that. Here I go. Sheen rushed in and kicked Connie in the back of her head and knocked her out. I took Connie to the nurse's office and informed the principal about what happened. The police came and arrested Connie and took her to prison. Later we walked to math class. Sheen, I'm confused about something, JD. What did Connie mean when she said that Quahog wouldn't have been destroyed? Me, oh that's right. You haven't heard about this. Over a year ago we destroyed the town of Quahog, Rhode Island. Quahog was a nice town, but it was a total dump. Meg here came from Quahog and she was badly abused by her horrible family, the Griffins. Peter Griffin the most. He was a fat, alcoholic, lazy, selfish, uneducated motherfucking son of a bitch. I went over Peter Griffin's history. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. In Peter Busanum, Peter proclaimed an independent micronation that involved the ownership of his home as soon as he knew this did not formally belong to the United States and called it Pretoria. He became anti-American and proceeded to invite the leaders of several countries hostile to the United States, including Slobodan Milosevic of Yugoslavia, Saddam Hussein of Iraq, Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, Osama bin Laden of Al-Qaeda, Kim Jong-il of North Korea, Fidel Castro of Cuba, and Ali Khomeini of Iran, over for a pool party and barbecue using his pool stolen from Joe's backyard after annexing it. Probably his most villainous act was in Tales of a Third Grade Nothing, his attempt to get a promotion at work by blowing up a billboard advertising a rival brewery. Unfortunately, he had placed the explosives in the wrong building, which just so happened to be a children's hospital. When Peter had his boss, Angela, look out the window to watch the billboard explode, he had caused the destruction of the hospital instead. Though Peter was initially shocked by what he had done, he quickly got over it when the resulting fire began to burn the billboard. By the end of the episode, when Peter had passed the 3rd grade and was eligible for a promotion, so he could use the executive bathroom, Angela refused to give it to him. Her reason was that nobody had forgotten the burning of the children's hospital, which resulted in 14 deaths. The FBI eventually learned it was Peter, but he was only sentenced to 7 days in prison. Peter constantly abuses his teenage daughter Meg, whether talking down to her, farting in her face, beating her up, telling her to shut up, carelessly nearly drowning her, and in a cutaway gag from Peter's daughter shooting her simply because she said "Hi Dad." In the story on page 1, he even went to Meg's school to create a false story that Luke Perry was gay and burned Meg's story about Quahog's mayor Adam West. However, this was in order to help Meg get more readers, as he believed the Mayor West story would put people to sleep. There's even some occasion where Peter even forgets Meg. In Screwed the Pooch, Peter and Brian bring up a man named Stan Thompson who they claim is Meg's real father. Occasionally seen in cutaway gags of trying to abandon Meg. However, it is revealed in Peter's sister that the true reason behind Peter's mistreatment towards Meg was because he was severely abused by his older sister Karen as a child. Upon learning of this and realizing that Karen's treatment was what transformed Peter into the abusive man he was known for being, Meg helped Peter fight Karen during a boxing match, managing to knock Karen out with a chair and putting her in a coma. A grateful Peter thanked Meg for her help, even genuinely apologizing for his mistreatment towards her and admitting that he was stupid to take out his pain on her. Ever since then, Peter starts to show some respect and care for Meg, even defending her from bullies, an example being in the Peter Principle. Another person that Peter abuses is Lois. He sometimes shows little to no respect towards her. He would sometimes ignore her and would make her do several things against her will. One example is in Baby You Knock Me Out, when Peter and his friend are attending a women's boxing match on his birthday. After watching the match and the announcer asked if any woman wanted to fight the champ, Peter forced Lois to enter the ring and fight. After witnessing Lois beating the champ, he then forces her to enter into more boxing matches so he can get rich. In sibling rivalry, Peter ruthlessly insults Lois for gaining weight, at least until he discovers the wonders of fat sex. Then he encourages her to gain weight, which is even worse than him putting her down. He insists she get fatter and literally stuffs her face with cake. She gains so much weight that she has a heart attack and almost dies. But that does not stop Peter from having sex with her. In Lois Comes Out of Her Shell, Lois starts to feel insecure about getting older, but during a surprise birthday party with all of her friends, Peter refers to her as a plow horse whose only use is menial labor and sex, something which sends Lois on a midlife crisis. In The Courtship of Stewie's Father, Peter learned about Stewie's real interest in tormenting Lois. In a successful attempt to bond with Stewie, he helped the latter pull deadly pranks on Lois, such as smashing a glass jar of pickles on Lois' head, spraying Lois with a gardening hose while going to the bathroom, which caused her to fall down the stairs, and pushing her unconscious body into a lake, nearly drowning her. In Damn It, Janet, he convinces Lois to keep a flight attendant job which she hates due to uptight passengers only because he gets free plane flights. Peter once wrote hate letters to his family, though on that occasion he did not realize what he was doing was wrong. In Death Lives, Peter was attended a golf game during their anniversary, but to prevent Lois from knowing, he set up a fake anniversary scavenger hunt so he can play a game of golf with his friends. This one moment nearly ruined their marriage, but with help from Death he managed to save their marriage. In Family Guy, he attempts to shoot her while imitating Amen Goeth when he learns she is Jewish. He crosses the moral event horizon in Brian Griffin's House of Pain when he threw an unconscious Stewie with heavily infected head wounds underneath Lois' car so she would run him over after weeks of no medical treatment, just so she would not ask how Stewie got hurt. Peter also abuses his son Chris as well. In If I'm Dying, I'm Lying, Peter pretended that Chris was dying so he could save a cancelled TV show, and after being confronted by the city, claimed he cured Chris, causing everyone to call him God, which arouses the anger of the real God who plagues the Griffin house. Despite everyone demanding he tell the truth, Peter refuses to, until Chris almost dies. Peter would have crossed the moral event horizon if he had not pleaded forgiveness. In Long John Peter, Peter made Chris lose his girlfriend by giving him bad advice on how to date a girl and act around her. In And the Wiener Is, Peter always thought that he's better than Chris in every way, but when he found out that Chris had a bigger junk that he did, Peter got jealous and tried to prove he has the bigger junk, and even unintentionally tells Lois that Chris' junk was the reason why he's trying to become the bigger man. In He's Too Sexy Fat, Peter and Chris try to lose weight and find out about liposuction. Chris refused to take the procedure, but Peter takes liposuction to make himself skinnier. At first he was still interacting with and helping his son lose weight, but when he used the liposuction to add muscle, he began to forget Chris several times, especially when Peter joined the handsome guys clubs. In Hannah Banana, Peter attempted to ruin Chris' life by disguising as Chris and saying that he's gay, all because the evil monkey was more of a father figure toward Chris than Peter is. Chris retaliates by luring Peter into a log trap using a hat as bait. Of course, Peter falls for the trick, causing Chris to cut the rope restraining the logs, which brutally smashes Peter's face. In that same episode before they found out the evil monkey was real, both Peter and Quagmire placed Chris' fingers into a bowl of water, causing Chris to urinate in his pants while Quagmire punched him in the face to give him a black eye before leaving. In petarded, Peter found out he was mentally retarded and also that no charges would be held against him if he did anything wrong. He decided to take advantage of the situation. He went into the ladies' room and kicked the doors while women were going onto the bathroom and destroyed some of Lois' plates after he finished dinner. When he went to a fast food restaurant, he grabbed a fry tater and burned Lois. And because there was no mentally sane adult, Meg, Chris, and Stewie had to live at Cleveland's house. So Peter put 7 prostitutes into Cleveland's house so he could get his kids back, only to be put on trial for their custody, which he lost. In Jerome is the New Black, Peter is angry in finding out that Lois slept with Jerome, Cleveland's replacement. He flies into a jealous rage and spends the rest of the evening drinking. Stopping by Jerome's house, Peter throws his bottle through a window and hits a lamp, accidentally causing a fire which burns the house down. In 420, after Quagmire got a cat, Peter, Joe, Cleveland, and Brian sneak into his house while he was out and decide to shave it as a prank. But Peter killed the cat with a straight razor. This was an accident, but he was unconcerned about it, and added further insult by stealing Quagmire's beer afterwards. At the end of the episode, Quagmire asks where his cat is outside of the Griffin household, and before Peter slams the door on him, he apathetically says, "I killed your cat." Earlier in the same episode, Peter does a cutaway gag saying that he used to lure sailors to their deaths with siren songs while dressing up as a mermaid. In April in Quahog, Peter's comment seconds before the supposed end of the world, expressing shame and disgust for his children, "I just hate being around the kids," was uttered deliberately in thinking that he will have no price to pay. How sadly mistaken he is once the April Fool's Day hoax passes without incident, and even Peter's heartfelt apology is fruitless. Meg, Chris, and Stewie are still very mad at their father. In the end, he buys back their love with an Xbox 360. In No Meals on Wheels, the Griffin family run a restaurant, but Peter refuses to allow Joe and his other cop friends in because they are gross cripples, to which they respond by forming themselves into a giant robot which attacks and destroys the restaurant, which falls on Peter, breaking his legs. In Steroids, he puts Stewie on steroids after he was beaten up by Joe's daughter Susie Swanson. In The Tan Aquatic with Steve Zissou, when he finds out that Chris was being bullied by a teenager named Kyle, he decided to go to Kyle's house to try to talk to him but beat him up after losing his temper. Though Peter only hit him out of anger and was never willing to do so, this was still a serious crime because Kyle was only 13 while Peter was 43. And also, being an adult, he should have known better than to get angry. Later, upon realizing how good it felt to bully people, he started bullying his family and friends. When he realized he was like his high school bully Randy Fulcher, he went to see Fulcher to pay him back. However, it turned out that growing up, Fulcher suffered multiple sclerosis, which led to him being physically disabled. But instead of feeling sorry for him, Peter attempted to beat up a disabled Fulcher, only to be beaten up by Chris. After being beaten, Peter finally realized that bullying is wrong and stopped trying to beat up Fulcher. In A Fistful of Meg, he continuously torments Brian with his nude body. He only stops when Brian shaves his fur to reveal his hideous bald appearance, which he uses to scare Peter and convince him to put his clothes back on. In The Juice is Loose, Peter accidentally murdered the 4th Griffin child, who was a baby at the time, by shaking him to make him stop crying. This seems like more of a misdeed since Peter did not mean it. In Peter Problems, he kills and eviscerates a beached whale with a forklift, trying to get it back in the ocean. To add insult to injury, he then carefully and gently picks up a seashell with the same forklift and says, "Your whale," come to a horrified crowd. It is shown in Fresh Air Peter is holding a hairless twin hostage in his storm shed and feeding him garbage. He also murders whom he thought was a boy who bullied Chris and presents his severed head to him, but as it turns out it was a deaf student. The main plot of the episode involved Peter attempting to marry Chris, who was made the heir of Carter's will. At the beginning of Herpy the Love Sore, he menaced numerous people, including Meg, Stewie and even Cleveland, with a whip he received from the mail, which was supposed to go to Quagmire. In Meg Stinks, it was revealed he pays off his shenanigans by, frequently, robbing a bank. After Meg accidentally killed the bank manager, Peter told her to kill everyone else. Brian's got a brand new bag. While having dinner, he, along with his family except Brian, does things that will make Rita say her age. After they failed, he yelled at her and forces her to say her age, which caused her to run away crying after she says 50. He's black. When Lois and Cleveland's new wife Donna Tubbs Brown had an argument on parenting, the two banned him and Cleveland from seeing each other again. To try to get Lois and Donna to be friends as well, they performed various, and rather questionable, stunts to bring their wives together. One of them was showing Lois and Donna naked babies. However, Cleveland asked why Peter had pictures of them in suggestive positions and taken long before they made the plan. This indicated Peter may have been a pedophile at one point. After realizing this, Peter burst into tears and admitted he had problems. He also intentionally crashed his car by driving it into a pole with him and Cleveland still inside, resulting in the latter ending up hospitalized and in critical condition due to only Peter being protected by the car's airbags. This attempt only further cemented the hostility between his and Cleveland's wives. Underage Peter, when drinking, becomes banned for people under 50. He manipulates Brian into buying him alcohol because Brian is 56 in dog years. When a police officer catches him drunk, he tells on Brian, leaving him to do community service. Peter does not care about what he did to Brian, and he still asks him to buy them alcohol when Brian is doing community service. Additionally, when Brian is doing community service, he drinks alcohol, burps at him, litters and insults a glaring policeman, making Peter do community service as well. In The Simpsons guide, he got into an extremely long and violent fight with Homer Simpson that destroyed much of Springfield and killed or injured many residents, although this may be non-canon. However, the two thankfully made up by the end of the episode. Brian the Closer, Peter desperately tries to get Brian's old toy rope, to the point when he ties the rope to his car and drives off in an attempt to get it away from Brian. This greatly injures Brian, causing him to collide headfirst on a fire hydrant, making him lose all his teeth and break his nose. Peter uncaringly gives Brian the rope back, having grown bored of it. Turkey Guy, Peter, as usual, gets drunk and ends up eating the entire Thanksgiving turkey with Brian. The two head out to find a replacement turkey. Through Peter's stupidity, the two encounter bad luck and misfortune, some of which endangers Brian. When Brian cannot take any more of Peter's stupidity, he yells at him, to which Peter reveals Brian had nothing to do with eating the turkey and he just framed him, so he did not have to take all the blame. He furthered this insult by telling Brian that he's a dog and that he could throw him off a bridge, and unless it hits a person, he is fine. Finders Keepers, he presumably beats an innocent boy to death with a shovel because he thinks he's after the treasure. In the beginning of the episode, he disgusts his family with his putrid breath. Lottery Fever, he torments Quagmire and Joe for his own amusement after becoming richer than them. He forces them to perform for him while he criticizes them and repeatedly shoots them with a BB gun, with one pellet blowing out Joe's eye, forcing him to get a glass eye. He tries to justify this behavior by saying that the money caused him to do it. Also, he defecated on Angela's desk after resigning from his job. A Shot in the Dark, he shot Cleveland's son Cleveland Jr. in the arm and was arrested by Joe and charged with a hate crime. However, he did not mean to shoot Cleveland's son because while in the neighborhood watch it was dark and he thought Cleveland Jr. was trying to rob Cleveland's house since was trying to get into the window. Though at the end Peter confessed that he did something stupid and Cleveland confessed that he shot his son in the arm. Ratings Guy, he stole Nielsen boxes and ruined television, causing everybody to hate him. Vestigial Peter, after he becomes annoyed with Chip, he attempts to use a dingo to eat him. This fails and Chip realizes that Peter wants to kill him, so he angrily leaves the house. But after Chip saves Peter when he fell to the basement, Peter is grateful and they reconcile. The Peanut Butter Kid, he and Lois forced Stewie to do a commercial which tired him and kept giving him drugs to keep him active and pressuring him to succeed, as well as using Stewie's earned money they planned for his college fund for themselves instead. Padre de Familia, Peter became a patriot and convinced his employer Angela to check workers if they were legitimate US citizens, only to find out he was an immigrant himself, after which he is fired. He started looking for a new job. He cycled through many and a scene of his job as a nanny was shown. In it he fell through a window killing 2 children by falling on them and showed no remorse, only being disgusted as he puked. After that he proceeded to push the children's corpses under the bed in the room with the top of his umbrella. And in an earlier scene when doing his job as a maid he entered a motel room even though the person specifically told him not to. In Brian's A Bad Father he shot Quagmire just to prove a hunting rifle was not in safety mode and revealed he lost a Huey Lewis CD in a game of poker, making Quagmire end their friendship. In Perfect Castaway, once Peter returns from being lost on an island at sea he becomes distraught when he realized Brian married Lois. He then seduced Lois into having intercourse with him. While this could be considered less villainous since it was justifiable because they were previously married, Peter still did not respect the marriage between Brian and Lois or Brian in general, secretly cheating behind Brian's back, and when she attempts to explain that it is not right to do so, Peter simply says he loves her more and Brian was simply a dog, demeaning him as simply a pet instead of an actual and deserving husband. In Hot Pocket Dial he became furious when he learned Quagmire also loved Lois. Unable to control his jealousy, he ignored Brian's suggestions of ignoring it and got into a fight with Quagmire. Later, still angry at Quagmire, Peter flips him off when he moves away. He even blames Lois for Quagmire loving her. In High School English he drove his car into a rich person's house and broke into his library where he decided to tell the stories of The Great Gatsby, Huckleberry Finn, and of Mice and Men. He tried to escape from the police while hiding in the attic but was apprehended and battered by them at the end of the episode. In Veteran Guy he and his friends impersonated military officials though they were arrested and charged, and he later beat an innocent boy to death so he could steal a jet ski. In The Wolf of Wall Street, while he and the guys are temporarily in charge of the drunken clam, he brought a real bull into the clam for entertainment which destroyed the bar and the only portrait of Jerome's mother who passed away recently, resulting in Peter later being attacked by Jerome after failing to evacuate himself from the clam's premises as part of a ploy for him and the others to avoid being hurt by replacing themselves with straw-filled scarecrow replicas. Although he does not actually do anything in You Can't Do That on Television, Peter, it was implied he's interested in raping 3-year-old girls. In Family Guy Peter put a brain-damaged horse on top of his car after it died of a fatal heart attack and drove the car too fast only for Peter to put his foot on the brake pedal, in the result of the horse getting knocked over at Mort Goldman's pharmacy, and it made the Griffin family pay the damage of the building even though he was responsible for the damage. ******. Sheen, that's awful. What did he do to Meg? Me, it's not my place to say. It's Meg's. Meg, my father Peter Griffin was a monster. For 18 years he had abused me so much that he nearly drove me to where I wanted to commit suicide several times. I was beaten up for no reason, and Peter would shove my face in his butt and fart in it. Carol, that is disgusting. Me, I know. He's a rotten father that should have never been a parent, period. Meg, I know. But the worst part was in my school days. I was the victim of constant bullying and I was constantly picked on because I was fat and big. The teachers added to it and did nothing. Me, we launched a major investigation and found out that everyone at James Woods Regional High School sabotaged her whole education there. She was a mess from day one. No offense, Meg. Meg, none taken, JD. Sheen, that's horrible. I can't believe the people of Quahog were that stupid and imbecilic. Carol, yet. Me, Lois Griffin was really bad. I went over her history. *****. In Breaking Out Is Hard to Do, Lois became addicted to stealing. When she was about to purchase a ham, but found out that she didn't have enough money, she stole the ham rather than putting it back. And after she stole the ham, Lois developed kleptomania. Even though Brian convinced Lois to quit her addiction and return everything she stole, she attempted to escape from Joe Swanson when he found out but was caught and sentenced to 3 years in prison. In Brian Griffin's House of Pain, when Stewie was both injured and comatose, both Chris and Meg, and eventually Peter, tried to hide the fact that he's injured by putting a hat on his head and telling everyone he's asleep. When Peter tosses an injured Stewie while Lois was backing up, she accidentally runs over Stewie. When she thought that she injured Stewie, instead of taking him to a hospital, she tried to hide the fact the Stewie was injured by doing the exact same thing that Peter, Meg, and Chris did. In Jungle Love, Lois reassures a worried Chris that his first day of high school will be alright. After dropping him off, she honks the horn and yells "freshman," exposing her son to be victimized through hazing by students and Adam West. This eventually leads to Chris running away to another country. In A Fish Out of Water, Lois decides that Meg and her should have their own spring break. Even though she tries to give Meg the time of her life, Lois lets her younger wild side get the best of her and starts to party, and as a result, she consistently embarrasses and overshadows Meg, forgetting that the trip is supposed to be for Meg's happiness, by winning over the favor and attention of the teenage party-goers, including Meg's classmates. In The Sun Also Draws, she gambles away the family car. This leads to Peter to lying to get the car back and him and Chris nearly dying in the woods on a vision quest. In a flashback in Ratings Guy, Peter and Lois were attempting to abandon Meg by leaving her outside the fire station. In Friends Without Benefits, Lois tells Bonnie Swanson over the phone that she has left Stewie in the oven numerous times. Also in Dearly Deported, it's said she put Stewie in the oven multiple times and dared herself to turn the oven on. In Hannah Banana, when Chris was trying to prove the evil monkey existed, he set up a camera to see what happened that night. When he saw the video, Lois was caught stealing money out of Chris' wallet. In A Very Special Family Guy Freakin' Christmas, Lois went on a psychopathic rampage. She wanted everything to be perfect for Christmas dinner. But when everything went wrong, Lois tried to remain calm, until Meg told them that there was no paper towels. This caused Lois to go on a rampage throughout Quahog. While she was on a rampage, in 2 cutaway gags, she shoved George Bailey off a bridge and burned Frosty the Snowman alive. She even attempted to destroy the star on the town's Christmas tree. In Go, Stewie, Go, Lois has developed a crush, as well as a perverted nature, towards one of Meg's boyfriend, Anthony. After being scolded and driven away by Meg, Lois confronts Peter, accusing him of making her feel bad about herself, which drove her over the edge. In Lethal Weapons, when Lois was taking taijutsu, she started to become a bit of a control freak. She forces Peter to drop them. After a therapy session with Stewie and Peter, the doctor recommends to become a more peaceful family. So Lois forces the family to never argue, nor fight again, but as a result, the entire Griffin family fought each other and destroyed part of their house. In Stewie Loves Lois, she dreamed of killing her son Stewie, because of frustration that he gives her. In It Takes a Village Idiot, and I Married One, Lois becomes the mayor of Quahog. However, despite her trying to do good as the mayor by shutting down companies that polluted the lake, she quickly becomes corrupt and embezzled $600 to buy an expensive purse. And when she wanted to buy a fur coat that cost $4,300, she nearly made a deal with Bob Grossbeard that if he paid for the fur coat, Lois would allow him to reopen his company and continue polluting the lake. Lois realizes the error of her ways and closes the pipe of the drain and resigns her position as mayor. In And I'm Joyce Kinney, it is revealed that, as a teenager, Lois pulled a truly cruel joke on a then overweight and possibly unpopular Joyce Kinney, then Joyce Chavapravetdam wrong, in high school. Tricking her into thinking she had become part of the cheerleading squad, which Lois herself was the captain of. Lois blindfolded her, walked her into the middle of the gym, pulled down her pants and put a hot dog in her mouth. This was done in front of the entire school and everyone laughed at Joyce. Lois probably only did this to simply be nasty and had an evil expression while she was laughing at Joyce. In the same episode, she is revealed to have been a cocaine addict. In Bill and Peter's Bogus Journey, when Stewie showed her and Peter a drawing they made some nice compliments towards it, but after he left the room he overheard them laughing and making some insulting and vituperative comments towards his drawing. Later, she sleeps with Bill Clinton, whom Peter befriended. A friendship which nearly destroys Peter and Lois' marriage seduces Lois into having sex with him, only to be caught by Peter. In Seahorse Seashell Party, she mistreated Meg, even blaming the bad things that happened to the Griffin family. In Into Fat Air, along with her family, she eats Ben Fishman's frozen body, the son of Ross and Pam. However, this action is motivated by the survival instinct. In Lois Comes Out of Her Shell, she pretends to be a young woman and begin combining pranks. At one point, she causes a car crash that kills 2 people. In the same episode, she attempted to cheat Peter with Justin Bieber. In Farmer Guy, along with her family, she takes part in selling drugs. In Brian the Closer, she refused to spend the money to repair Brian's teeth. In The Peanut Butter Kid, she and Peter forced Stewie to do a commercial, which tired him, and they kept giving him drugs to keep him active and pressuring him to succeed, as well as using Stewie's earned money they planned for his college fund for themselves instead. In A Lot Going On Upstairs, she almost killed Peter, Joe, Quagmire, and Cleveland by locking them in the attic. She only lets them out because Peter pooped on her wedding dress. In Hot Shots, she convinced the entire town not to vaccinate their children, and, because of her, 150 people died from a measles outbreak. Among those who died was a young boy named Billy. In Peter's Lost Youth, when Lois goes with Peter to Boston to a fantasy baseball camp, she reveals that the reason she was going with Peter is to get away from the kids, to which she calls them life-sucking turds. In Love, Blackually, she and Peter didn't want Cleveland to reconcile with his ex-wife Loretta, so they conspire to have Quagmire have sex with Loretta again to prove she hasn't changed. In Dead Dog Walking, while attempting to steal money from Stewie's piggy bank, Lois discovers Stewie to be vaping and takes his stick away. She later proves to be a hypocrite, when Chris goes to get Stewie's vaping stick back and he catches her smoking a cigarette. In Bree, Robot, Lois is seen attempting to cheat on Peter with another man and is almost caught by Peter. In Patriot Games, both Lois and Meg attempt to spy on Tom Brady when he was using the shower in the Griffin home to see him naked. In Vestigal Peter, Lois learns that Peter and Chris had gotten groceries when they return home with them. But instead of being grateful, she physically assaults her husband and throws a can at her son's head, because she believes getting groceries was her thing alone. Peter argues with the fact that Lois complains that he never does anything around the house, but then Lois admits that she likes saying that more than she likes Peter actually doing things. In Throw It Away, after being inspired by Tricia Takanawa's book, Lois is determined to get rid of the things the Griffin family don't actually need, but her attempt to remove the clutter ends up going too far and it causes her to become very obsessive and domineering over the rest of the Griffin family. It gets to the point where she throws out just about everything, including forcing the rest of the family to leave the house as well, believing them to also be clutter. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Sheen, she's a poor excuse of a woman. Nico, Lois has failed in being a mother. Sheen, did they arrest Meg's parents after that? Me, we did, yes. We brought them to trial and they sentenced them to 50 years in prison plus life of public humiliation. Nico, you should have seen what we did, Sheen. It was so funny. Me, oh yeah. Good times. Sheen, what did you guys do? Me, we did all kinds of awesome pranks and fun on Peter and Lois and we really gave them their just desserts. Carol, we have videos of them at home if you want to watch them. Sheen, I would like that. But how come Lois is still there? Me, Lois was the victim of abuse because of her evil father Carter Pewterschmidt. He abused her with a lot of terrible things and it made her do unspeakable crimes. After the trial, the FBI found out about his shady activities and arrested him for treason. He was sentenced to be executed. But he died after being beaten to death by fellow inmates. Sheen, good riddance. Me, yep. And they buried him in an unmarked grave. But William and Maria separated the pure Lois from her bad self and purified her. Sheen, wow. That's amazing. Carol, it was cool. Meg, I've forgiven my mom. But I can never forgive Peter, bad Lois, and Chris for their crimes. Sheen, Isn't Chris your brother, Meg? Meg, yes, he is my brother. Me, but he also has a bad streak. I went over Chris Griffin's history. Sheen, he deserved it. But what happened to Chris? Me, he got 50 years in prison and a life sentence of extremely bad paddling. Nico, yep. After school we'll take you to where he is. Sheen, okay. Hey Nico, I heard you all defeated the Ghost King. Nico, that was one of our most epic adventures. Me, that was what we call Rainstorm 2. His name was Pariah Dark, the King of Ghosts. I revealed the detailed history of the Ghost King. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Long ago, Pariah Dark was the all-powerful king of the Ghost Zone and ruled with an iron fist with the Fried Knight as his chief servant. None dared rise against him due to the seemingly limitless power granted to him by the two items in his possession, the Ring of Rage and the Crown of Fire. However, a group of ancient ghosts joined forces to defeat Pariah Dark and succeeded in sealing away the Fried Knight, before taking the Ring of Rage from him and sealed him away in the sarcophagus of forever sleep. His kingdom was destroyed, with the exception of his castle so as to ensure Pariah Dark remained dormant. However, Vlad Plasmius inadvertently freed Pariah Dark in an attempt to get his crown of fire and the Ghost King drove him off. However, he soon learned that the half-ghost had his Ring of Rage and angrily ordered his army of skeletons and the Fried Knight to find it. Vlad gave Valerie Gray the ring to keep safe and soon enough, Pariah Dark's army descended upon Amity Park. Eventually the Fried Knight drove his sword into the ground, claiming the town for the Ghost King and surrounding Amity Park in a ghostly shield. Its removal was a signal of doom, a sign of surrender that would mean the people had given up the town to Pariah Dark. Danny removed the sword, not knowing this, and Amity Park was sent to the Ghost Zone. Eventually the Ghost King realized that Valerie had the Ring of Rage and went to claim it, but she bought some time by firing it away on a missile. However, Pariah Dark eventually got his ring back and began planning for further conquest, but Danny, aided by a number of ghosts and his father's experimental ectoskeleton armored suit, fought his way into the Ghost King's castle. Pariah Dark and Danny faced off, but the half-ghost started running out of energy due to the suit's unstable qualities. However, he managed to knock off the Ghost King's crown of fire and throw Pariah Dark back into the sarcophagus of forever sleep. Vlad succeeded in locking the sarcophagus, imprisoning the Ghost King once more. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Sheen, unbelievable. Me, I know. It was one of the most epic battles we've ever had. Nico, but the battle that really tested the full limits of my power was the battle with Dark Danny. Sheen, Dark Danny? Who was he? Me, he was Danny Phantom turned pure evil. I revealed the history of Dark Danny. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. In the original timeline, before Clockwork intervened, Danny Fenton used his powers to cheat on the career aptitude test. However, Danny's teacher, Mr. Lancer, who'd been suspicious of him, asked his family to come to the Nasty Burger for a meeting. Sam and Tucker were also there, but the Nasty Burger's vat of condiments exploded, killing everyone present except Danny. Left orphaned and alone by the tragedy, Danny was forced to move in with Vlad Masters, since no one else could understand his situation, and despite the hatred that the two had shared for each other prior, Vlad treated Danny with great sympathy. However, Danny couldn't deal with the guilt anymore and asked his former archenemy to remove his ghost powers, believing that it was responsible for the deaths of his family and friends. He also thought that his ghost half would be free of all emotion, ridding him of the pain and guilt that he was feeling. Vlad agreed to help and tore Danny Phantom out of Danny Fenton with the ghost gauntlets, but after the procedure, Danny Phantom turned hostile and did the same to Vlad. He then bonded with his ghost half, resulting in the two selves fusing together, with Danny's ghost half as the dominant personality. As a result, Vlad's evil overwhelmed and destroyed any humanity that Danny Phantom may have had, and as such, Dark Danny was born. Now, no longer possessing any empathy or remorse, Dark Danny responded by brutally murdering his former human self before blowing up Vlad's mansion. With that mission complete, Dark Danny then flew off to unleash a 10-year period of destruction throughout the human and ghost worlds. When the observants saw the terrible future that Dark Danny had unleashed, they commanded Clockwork to destroy Danny in the past so as to prevent Dark Danny from ever coming into being. However, the Time Ghost instead sent in various future ghosts that set off a series of events that caused Danny to end up in the future to confront Dark Danny, who was reducing the future Amity Park to rubble, having finally gotten through its ghost shield with his ghostly whale power. Danny was no match for his evil older self, and eventually Dark Danny fused him with a time medallion that trapped him in the future so that the half-ghost wouldn't be able to stop him from coming into being. Realizing that Clockwork was trying to stop Danny from turning into him, he threw his past self into the ghost zone to make sure he stayed out of the way, and then transformed himself into a 14-year-old version of his human self. Dark Danny used another time medallion to go to the past to ensure the events that created him would happen. However, Danny's sister, Jazz, found out what he really was. He successfully cheated on the CAT using the answers, which Danny had obtained earlier by accident, causing Lancer to call his parents over to the Nasty Burger as a demonstration of what awaited those who failed the test. Sam and Tucker came to try and warn them of the imminent explosion, and Jazz arrived, proceeding to use the Fenton Ghost Peeler to reveal Dark Danny. He managed to use ectoplasm to trap them on the condiment vat, which was coming close to exploding, but then Danny Phantom arrived, having succeeded in getting the time medallion out of him with help from the future version of Vlad. Dark Danny could not kill his younger self, since he needed to ensure his existence, but only had to hold him off until the sauce exploded. They fought, but even with the Spectre Deflector and Ghost Gauntlets, Danny couldn't defeat his evil older self. However, his determination to save his family and friends caused Danny to unleash the ghostly whale power, which he had used earlier while under attack by future versions of ghosts he had fought. This shocked Dark Danny, since he was not supposed to gain that power for another 10 years, and Danny told him that the future apparently was never as predetermined as he'd thought. He unleashed a second ghostly whale that blasted Dark Danny into a building, who emerged extremely battered and weakened and was trapped in the Fenton Thermos. However, he pointed out that Danny was too late to save his family and friends in time, but Clockwork's intervention saved them, and he sent the half-ghost back to before the test so as to give him a chance to change his future. Danny then gave the test answers back to Mr. Lancer, therefore creating a new timeline where Dark Danny was never born and all the harm he caused was erased. The Time Ghost then took charge of Dark Danny, who now existed outside of the time stream since Danny would never become him. At the end, he was seen smashing against the sides of Thermos, apparently attempting to escape. Sheen gasped in horror. Sheen, that is so awful. Nico, I know. But it was the biggest battle I've done. It was a battle that really tested the full extent of my power. It overwhelmed Dark Danny, and we all got justice for all of the billions of people he senselessly slaughtered over the course of 10 years. Sheen, when did all this happen? Me, that's the confusing part. It happened in an alternate time in the year 2015. Sheen, so you all went back in time to 4 years ago? Me, yeah. It was really confusing. Dark Danny was Danny Phantom's most deadliest enemy. He pummeled the living shit out of him the first time. Sheen, wow. Nico, but he paid for his crimes. Sheen, I'm glad. But how did Laurie's children come into being? Me, that was during when we faced the evil ghost of sleep, Nocturne. That was an unforgettable adventure. Nico, it sure was. JD, Danny, and Lincoln went into a lot of dreams to help wake everyone up. Me, first here's the story of Nocturne. I told her the history of Nocturne. Nocturne set his sleepwalkers on Amity Park, at one point battling Danny Phantom and defeated him, before putting him to sleep and having his minions toss him into the ghost zone. He then put the rest of the town to sleep and began harnessing their dream energy. However, Danny managed to wake up. He returned to Amity Park to find everyone fast asleep and was confronted by the sleepwalkers and Nocturne. They subdued him, and the sleep ghost brought Danny back to his parents' lab. then proceeded to introduce himself, before explaining what he was doing. Nocturne and the Sleepwalkers went from town to town, putting the people to sleep and harnessing dream energy from them. Danny broke free of his bonds and fight ensued between the two, with Danny emerging the victor after he succeeded in freezing, then shattering Nocturne. He went off to deal with the Sleepwalkers, not knowing the dream ghost had reformed, though he was still weakened, and had teleported back to his base. Danny managed to figure out the only way to get one of the sleep helmets off was by shocking the sleeper in their dream. He managed to use his overshadowing powers to enter the dreams of Sam, Tucker, and Jazz and woke them up, then managed to track down Nocturne's base, an abandoned mattress factory. They found him asleep in a chamber in his lair that would allow him to gain more energy. Danny and Sam went to face Nocturne in his dream, but their attempts to fight him did little due to the amount of power he'd gained. However, Tucker managed to jam the frequency of the antenna that the sleep ghost was using to harness dream energy. Nocturne was weakened enough that Danny and Sam managed to beat him and wake him up, along with everyone else. He was left powerless and was easily subdued with the Fenton Thermos. Nocturne later appeared amongst the countless other ghosts to help Danny turn the planet intangible, to save it from the disasteroid. Sheen, and he wanted to use the power of the people's dreams to make himself all-powerful? That's horrible. Me, yet. But the dreams we went into were amazing. Natalie, Danny, and Sam went into Laurie's dream first. Sheen, what was her dream about? Carol, she told me that her dream was about her and Bobby having a picnic in a beautiful mountainous park while her septuplet kids were playing. Me, it was a beautiful dream. Natalie said that she has the power to make dreams become a reality. Sheen, oh, that is so awesome. Nico, that's how she got her title, the Guardian of Dreams. Not only is she called the Celtic Princess, but she also has this magnificent power that enables her to see into the world of dreams. Sheen, that's amazing. Me, yep. It's one of the most amazing powers I've ever seen. Later at Gotham Royal York Maximum Security Prison, we showed Sheen what was happening to Chris Griffin. He was in a special titanium reinforced pillory and he was getting whacked in the butt with powerful metal paddles. They hurt him so bad to the point where they made his butt bleed. Whack. Sheen, boo. That's got to hurt. Meg, yeah, but he deserves this. This testicle-chinned blonde fat tub of lard is not my brother anymore. He's a monster. Me, he deserves to spend every second of his miserable life being beaten to death by paddling. I would call this torture, but it's a perfect form of capital punishment. Sheen, yep. We then went back home and Nico caught a Stunfisk and Axelgor. At the estate we were helping Lynn Loud Sr. with cooking dinner. Lynn Sr., can you get that bag of potatoes for me, JD? Me, sure, Mr. Lynn. I grabbed them with an octopus tentacle and got them for Lynn Sr. Lynn Sr., thanks JD. Sheen, that is so cool. Me, thanks Sheen. Sheen, JD. I heard you have something called Magi Swords. What are those? Me, oh, you will love these, Sheen. This is one of my favorites. I spun my Magi Sword bracelet and out came a Magi Sword. Announcer, Bacon Magi Sword. Me, Toddy. This is a Magi Sword. It's the Bacon Magi Sword. Sheen, it looks like a strip of bacon. Me, they come in many different kinds of shapes and there are many different kinds of Magi Swords. Sheen, this is so cool. What do they do? Are they like regular swords? Me, they are not like a regular sword. They have all kinds of awesome magical powers and abilities. Watch. Hold out your hand. She did so and I pointed the Bacon Magi Sword at her hand and fired a strip of bacon. It went into her hand. Sheen, that is so awesome. Me, it sure is. There are many different kinds of Magi Swords and they are awesome and amazing. Sheen, I want to try them out. Me, that's what I like to hear. It's easy. I got to teaching her how to use magi swords. I gave her a lot of them and she was a quick learner. She even mastered the legendary magi swords quickly. Chin, this is so cool. Me, you're a natural Chin. Lana, I'll say. It took me a while to master the arts of magi swords and it was awesome. Me, Lana got us into the magi sword craze and it's awesome. Prohyas and Vambre are the greatest teachers as well. Chin, that's amazing. Magi swords are just as awesome as real swords. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. In my room that night I was playing the events of Tricked over in my mind. I was thinking about what Lin Loud Sr. said about hating Halloween. Me, why would Mr. Lin hate Halloween like that? I know it's the time when we get to be scary, but this doesn't make sense. Maybe something happened in his past that affected him in some way. Me, that could very well be it. I'm gonna go ask him. I went down to the Loud parents' room. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. In front of the Loud parents' room, I knocked on their door. Rita, come in. I went in. Me, Mr. Lin, Ms. Rita, I hope I didn't interrupt anything. Lin Sr., no JD. What's up? Me, well I've been replaying everything that happened during 2016's Halloween over and over in my mind and I want to know. Why do you hate Halloween, Mr. Lin? Lin Sr., sighs, it's something I don't want to talk about. But you have a right to know. The Loud kids came. Lori, we want to hear about it too. Lin Sr., okay. It was back when I was 11 years old. Flashback, 30 years ago, October 31st, 1989. Lin Sr. Narrating, it was Halloween back when I was 11 years old. I was so excited to go trick-or-treating. I got home from school and went to go get ready to go trick-or-treating. But suddenly I heard my dad scream and I went to go see. I went into his room and I saw that he was lying on the floor completely covered in blood. I thought it was him playing some kind of terrifying prank on me and I told him to wake up. But he didn't move and he was really dead. He was totally dead. Someone had killed him. Someone came and broke into our house and killed my father. Crying hard. Flashback ends. We gasped in sheer horror. Someone had murdered Lin Sr.'s father in cold blood and he was traumatized as a result and it was the primary reason why he was so terrified of Halloween ever since. Me, oh my god. Lori, that's literally horrible. Lenny, we had no idea. Luna, pop star that's awful. Luan, we had no idea Dad. Lynn, that's awful. Lincoln, Dad I had no idea. Liberty, none of us did. Lyra, me neither. Lee, same here. Lucy Loud, that is an awful experience to see someone you love die. Lainey, I had no idea that happened to you Dad. Lana, that's why you're so scared of Halloween? Loa, that's horrible. Lisa, whoever that monster was that killed our grandpa has absolutely no regard for the value of human life. Lily, no kidding. Me, I'm so sorry Mr. Lin. I didn't know that happened to you. Lin Sr., and that's why I don't really like Halloween. Rita, oh honey. I didn't know you went through all that. Me, having a family member murdered changes people and not in a good way. Murder tears families and lives apart. Did they catch the guy? Lin Sr., I don't know. Me, let me find out if they did. What was your father's name? Lin Sr., Samuel Loud. Me, okay. I went to the computer and I typed in the info and I found an incredibly major discovery. Samuel Loud was murdered by the infamous serial killer called the Knife Blade Slasher. His real name is Daniel Derek Monroe, a convicted sexual predator, rapist, thief, burglar, and mass murderer responsible for the deaths of 35 people and is believed to be responsible for the deaths of 125 people. The span of the killings were from 1973 to 2000 and he was identified thanks to modern DNA forensic technology and I am the one that arrested him. I remember that all too well. I arrested him on August 22, 2011. He was convicted of all his crimes and he was sentenced to death. He committed the killings in 27 states and he was on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list. He was executed on November 17, 2015. When I found out this info I was shocked. Me, holy fucking shit. I printed the info and showed it to Lin Sr. Lin Sr., so this is the man that did it? Me, yep. I am the one that caught him as he was on the run and I got him sent to death row in Florida. He was a major monster. I got justice for the people he senselessly butchered in cold blood. Lin Sr. came up to me and hugged me. He was crying hard into my shoulder knowing that his father can now finally rest in peace. I comforted him and he was totally grateful knowing that justice has been served to a monster that was terrorizing America. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Later the next day we were having an awesome breakfast. Me, so how do you like using magi swords? Sheen? Sheen, it's awesome. I love using the breakfast magi swords the best. Sheen spun her magi sword bracelet and pulled out a magi sword. Announcer, pancake magi sword. Sheen made more pancakes for us. Me, pancakes are my favorites. Nico, mine too. But still I can't believe that Lin Sr.'s father was murdered in cold blood. Me, we all were horrified. Nico, Daniel Derek Monroe, you have failed this world and this universe. Me, he died 4 years ago Nico. But yes he did. I'm glad he's now burning in the fire of hell. Then a breaking news report came on. News reporter, we interrupt this program to bring you this breaking news report. Convicted traitor and former disgraced police officer Mike Brzykowski has escaped from Gotham Royal York Maximum Security Prison. We believe that he is seeking to get revenge on the Powerpuff Girls. These images from the former Townsville Police Department evidence warehouse were taken back 10 years ago and Mike Brzykowski is seen trying to kill the Powerpuff Girls by trying to dunk them in a tank of acid. Adult Blossom, I thought we had seen the last of him. Me, who is Mike Brzykowski? Adult Bubbles, he's a corrupt cop that thinks that we are making all the cops in the city look bad. We gasped. Me, that is absolute horseshit. Let's see what it says about him. I pulled up the info on him. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Mike Brzykowski is the worst officer in the Townsville Police Department, as he never fights crime or helps the citizens of Townsville. Instead, he lets his fellow police officers do all of the hard work, while he just lazes around eating donuts, stopping at each donut shop, and sleeping in the car. One day, Brzykowski falls asleep during a bank robbery, forcing his partner Miguel Perez to call for backup. The rest of the cops arrive at the scene. However, his boss, the chief, notices Brzykowski sleeping and yells at him to wake up, but to no avail. Soon, the Powerpuff Girls show up and stop the robber and all the cops drive away. Brzykowski wakes up to hear Perez tell him that he missed the best part, the girls saved the day. But Brzykowski says that the girls are taking all the credit from the police. As Brzykowski then requests Perez to stop for his first donut of the day, he states that he is up for a promotion any day now, despite the fact that he never actually did any police work. Once at the TPD, Brzykowski is called to the chief's office. Brzykowski believes he is finally going to get his promotion, but instead, he is fired for making absolutely no work effort and sleeping on the job. Brzykowski initially thinks that the chief is joking, but his now former boss yells at him that he is dead serious and calls him out on his incompetence. The chief then forces Brzykowski to hand over his badge, sunglasses, and donut, but allows him to keep his gun as a souvenir. Brzykowski thinks the chief laid him off because he has to make cutbacks and blames the Powerpuff Girls, since they are the ones saving the day and making the police look bad. Brzykowski then punches a framed photo of the chief with the girls before storming out, much to the chief's shock. That night, Brzykowski watches television in his apartment when he sees the girls on the news and him being lazy and sleeping on the job. He flies into a rage and throws the TV out the window, planning on getting rid of the girls once and for all. The next day, Brzykowski tricks the mayor into calling the Powerpuff Girls to lure them into his trap, under a false claim that crooks plan to steal confiscated weapons from the police warehouse. The girls arrive and he tells them where the crooks are. As the girls enter the warehouse, Brzykowski warns them to be careful with an evil smirk forming on his face. Unknown to Brzykowski, however, his former partner Perez had followed him and saw the whole ordeal, and he calls the chief, telling him that Brzykowski is up to no good. Brzykowski uses a gas gun to put the girls to sleep and threatens to drop them into a vat of acid. He blames the girls for making the police look bad. The girls say that's not true, they need the police as they're an important part of the city, but Brzykowski refuses to listen and begins to lower the girls into the vat of acid. Brzykowski is then arrested by the other police, including the chief and Perez. Perez tries to stop the crane, but he is too late and the girls are doused in the acid. Fortunately, the girls survive due to their powers, though the acid still leaves them slightly bruised. As he is being taken to jail, Brzykowski claims he is a good cop gone bad. Blossom corrects him saying that he's not a good cop gone bad, he's a bad cop gone worse, much to the amusement of the narrator, who tells him that he will not get any donuts while serving time in prison. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. We laughed at what Blossom called him. Me, laughs, bad cop gone worse. That's so funny. Luan, laughs, good one Blossom. Eddie, laughs, that was a good one. Adult Blossom, thanks guys. That was a good one. Sid, it sure was. But I would never want to have a cop like that roaming the streets. Me neither. Leo, Sheila, do you sometimes have to deal with corrupt cops? Sheila, all the time Leo. It was a really good experience taking them down. Me, in all honesty I don't know what the police department was even thinking letting a lazy bum like him be a cop. But we won't let him get away with this. Let's fly. We went out to get him. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. A view of the Gotham Royal York skyline is shown. Narrator, the city of Gotham Royal York, loves its police force. Camera zooms out to reveal it inside the office of one of the precincts of the Townsville Police Department, then shift to the right showing policemen and policewomen working. Then a flashback is shown and zooms in to reveal the open box of donuts on the desk. Narrator, a group of hard-working men and women, doing their best to keep Gotham Royal York safe. A policeman takes one of his old-fashioned glazed from the box. The scene changes to a side view of a policeman who is wearing sunglasses and has a white mustache. He opens his mouth as he puts his donut in front of his face. He bites and chews it very loudly as the camera zooms out to reveal the policeman is very fat. Narrator, except for this guy. Inside the donut shop, the same fat policeman points to each donut he wishes to purchase with a pleased look on his face. Narrator, Officer Mike Brzykowski, the worst cop on the force. A woman screams as she points at a thief off camera and two policemen chase after the unseen thief. Then she looks at Brzykowski and glares at him for just standing there and doing nothing but eating his donut. He makes no effort to fight crime or help the citizens of Gotham Royal York. A boy wants Brzykowski to help to get his cat down from a tree, but Brzykowski is still eating. Three men try to lift a turned over police car, and he is shown cheerfully watching while still holding his donut, enjoying their struggling. Narrator, he'd rather let his fellow officers do all the work. Each of three scenes depicts him exiting a different donut shop at different times of the day while his partner waits in the squad car. He likes things easy. Now while his partner, Miguel Perez, drives the police car, Brzykowski silently moves his mouth. Enjoy your ride when it lasts, Officer Brzykowski. He takes a bite of his donut and the car passes. Now, back in the car, Brzykowski is napping and snoring, while Perez is reading the newspaper at the wheel. Cause you're in for a rude awakening. Flashback ends. Mike Brzezowski, those fucking Powerpuff Girls. They ruined my life. He was in a warehouse in the middle of town. He was looking for something. In the skies we found him because he had a dark orb on him. The penguins, Randy, Ed, and Kid Flash were there. Brzezowski, those Powerpuff Girls are around here somewhere. Unknown to him, Rico was nearby while getting a bazooka ready. He fired. Brzezowski sees a penny. Hey, a penny. Brzezowski bends over to pick it up, narrowly avoiding the missile as it explodes harmlessly. Rico groans at this. Crab-bahulaam. Randy, don't worry, Rico. I'll get his attention. Goes invisible. He snuck up on him and scared him bad and he went into an old beat-up car. Kid Flash, the idiot, locked himself in his police car. Ed, we've got him now. We bursted in through the warehouse with a powerful fiery explosion and a phoenix cry was heard. We landed and we confronted him. Me, Officer Mike Brzezowski. Adult Blossom, hello Brzezowski. Mike Brzezowski, you Powerpuff Girls are a menace to us police officers. You make us cops look like total idiots. Me, what kind of fucked up delusional world do you live in? Blossom, you think we're making the police look bad? Look who's talking. G1 Soundwave, Brzezowski, hypocrite. Police, dead without Powerpuff Girls. Nico, that's right Soundwave. Me, he's nothing but a fucked up hypocrite. You don't know how wrong you are Brzezowski. Without the Powerpuff Girls, you would all be dead because of all the villains that are plaguing the world as we speak. Just like Team Loud Phoenix Storm. You would all be dead without us. Mike Brzezowski, fuck you. Me, did you kiss your mother with that goddamn mouth? Nico, Mike Brzezowski, you have failed this city. Sheen, as a cop and as a human being. Me, well said Sheen. Sheila, Mike Brzezowski, you are under arrest. Mike Brzezowski, who are you? Sheila, Officer Sheila Castile of the Gotham Royal York Police Department. Mike Brzezowski, you'll never take me in again. Me, you are the worst cop ever Brzezowski. In all honesty, I don't know what they were thinking letting you join the force. You must have cheated your way in the exams. You have been the most incompetent cop ever. Mike Brzezowski, shut your fucking trap. Me, make me. Then a bunch of police car robots appeared. They looked a lot like Prowl. Me, wow. Look at these robots. Laney, they look like Prowl. G1 Prowl sees the police car robots. I don't know whether to be impressed or insulted. Me, we beat robots before. No offense Prowl. G1 Prowl, none taken. Me, let's dance. We went at the robots while Ed, Lenny, Luan, and Eddie were facing Mike Brzezowski. We blasted and bashed the robots. Sheen fired a powerful blast of pure dragon fire from her hands. The fire was over 12,000 Fahrenheit and it melted the robots into molten metal. Sheila fired web from her hands like Spider-Man does and she threw the robots and slammed them into the ground. Smash. Nico, you Prowl impersonators have failed all of Cybertron. Nico blasted them into scrap metal. Me, let's show them some teamwork. G1 Prowl, you got it boss. Cyber key power. The Autobot Cyber Planet key went into his back and it enhanced his weapons 100-fold. Kid Flash, let's get him. Earth Cyber key power. The Earth Cyber Planet key went into his right arm device and it enhanced his super speed powers 100-fold. G1 Prowl and Kid Flash, Hypersonic Missile Storm Matrix Assault. Kid Flash went at the robots with hypersonic speed and the speed seemed to cause all of time to slow down and more. He bashed them all with incredible speed and hit them all. Prowl fired numerous wire missiles and they hit the robots and exploded. Soundwave, let's do this. Cyber key power. The Planet X Cyber Planet key went into his arm and it enhanced his concussion blaster gun 100-fold. Randy, let's do this. Earth Cyber Key Power. The Earth Cyber Planet Key went into Randy's arm device and it enabled him to fire laser vision. G1 Soundwave and Randy, Sonic Laser Vision Storm. G1 Soundwave fired a massive blast of sonic energy from his concussion blaster and Randy fired a massive blast of laser vision from his eyes and they destroyed all the robots. Adult Blossom ripped the door off the car and threw Brakowski to the ground. Ed, prepare to meet your maker. He pounced onto Brakowski and threw him to Lenny and she punched him in the face with devastating force. Lewin and Eddie punched him all over the place. Blossom, let's get him with our final smashes. Ballistic Barrage. Blossom ran fast and bounced off the walls and she unleashed a ferocious flurry of punches onto Mike Brakowski and he was getting the living shit pulverized out of him. She stopped 20 seconds later. Sheila, my turn. Shredleg's Web Mace. Sheila formed a powerful mace club out of Shredleg's webbing and she slammed it into Mike Brakowski. The powerful punch knocked him out. Me, you are going to a much better prison, Brakowski. Blossom, to the viewers, all corrupt cops will never be welcome in the city or anywhere. Me, no they won't. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Mike Brakowski's escape and repeat offense trial got underway. We were the key witnesses. As the trial went on I noticed a strange scale being held by the statue of Lady Thea, goddess of justice. It was the Libra card. The Libra card shows a pan scale, one side holding a sun and the other holding a moon. Libra's form is reminiscent of the astrological sign of Libra. The idea of the scale is also used as a symbol of justice and truth. It has the power to know when someone is telling the truth or is lying. We listened to his words and I saw the Libra card scale tip and it meant that he was lying about it all. The jury saw through his lies and convicted him of his crimes. He was sentenced to spend 50 life sentences without parole in the Neptune prison for traitors. He became a traitor when he broke the oath of the police department, to protect and serve. I sealed the Libra card after the trial was over. At the Neptune prison we were putting Mike Brakowski in with Mandy, Caitlin, and Dominique. Caitlin and Dominique had been totally miserable in the prison because of Mandy. Nico, you see what you made us do, Mandy? You forced us to arrest 2 girls that you coerced into being your minions. William, we honestly had no idea what you two had gone through in here. Caitlin, of course you didn't. But hey, you already locked us up with Mandy. Dominique, yet. Screw what we think, right? As long as everyone in the universe is safe, that's all that matters to any of you. Nico, to Caitlin and Dominique, you think we want to leave you two in here. We do want to release you two from this cell. But the people in Beverly Hills will still despise you for what's happened. And you almost killed Lincoln's rage personality. It's gonna be a while before he forgive you two for that. Me, Nico is right. But because you were forced to do all this against your wills because of Mandy the bitch, we'll get your sentence reduced. We'll place you in different prison cells here for the time being. Nico, to Caitlin and Dominique, you two need to grin and bear with staying here a little while longer. At least, until I'm able to make some new I.D.S for you. Caitlin, thank you Nico. Dominique, we don't know what we were thinking teaming up with this fucking whore. Maria, she got what was coming to her. Me, yep. Mandy has failed this world and this universe. And now she has a cellmate that's a bad cop gone worse. We laughed. PPG narrator, laughing, that always cracks me up. Sorry Officer Brakowski. No donuts in prison. So once again the day is saved thanks to Team Loud Phoenix Storm. We were standing in the background in our poses. The end. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Another fanfiction complete and another Powerpuff Girls villain brought to justice. Officer Mike Brakowski was beyond a shadow of a doubt the worst cop ever. He only appeared in one episode though and that episode was Cop Out. What a ripoff. I got the idea for Lynn Sr.'s father being murdered out of inspiration from another DeviantArt user. I made up the serial killer and no, I didn't catch a guy like that. Nico-chan 11 gave me the ideas for this one. Thanks man, as usual. It was a great chapter. The next Clow card is the create card and that one is gonna be interesting. See you all next time.